Into the ditch, the vanishing of Brandon Swanson. Brandon Swanson turned 19 just months before what would become a bleak and perplexing night in May 2008. Even then, his life seemed poised between youthful freedom and steady ambition. A native of Marshall, Minnesota, he had just completed spring semester at Minnesota West Community and Technical College, studying wind turbine mechanics, a field of emerging promise. Wikipedia.org. That evening, May 13th into 14th, came marked by celebration. With friends in Canby, Minnesota, he recognized the close of his academic year and the possibilities ahead. He had been drinking at 2 parties, his companions later said. Enough for festive mood, but not enough to appear heavily intoxicated. Wikipedia.org. Shortly after midnight, Brandon left Canby in his father's Chevrolet Lumina and headed toward home, a 30-mile drive back to Marshall. The night had its own hush, the rural roads dim and the air cool with early summer. At approximately 2 a.m., he called his parents on his cell phone. His car was stuck in a ditch. He was unhurt, but unable to free the vehicle. He said he believed he was near the small town of Lind. Wikipedia.org. His parents, Annette and Brian Swanson, drove out to assist. On the phone, they stayed connected to their son as they headed toward the area he had mentioned. Brandon remained in the Lumina, attempting to flash his headlights and waving for his parents, though neither party could detect the other. He gave up driving the car and decided to walk toward lights he thought he could see in the distance, believing he could reach a parking lot of a bar and wait for his father there. Wikipedia.org. Approximately 47 minutes after the call began, while still on the line, Brandon exclaimed, "Oh, shit!" and the connection dropped. After that, he was never heard from again. Wikipedia.org. Morning light found the Swansons with no trace of Brandon or the vehicle at the location they expected. Initially, local police advised waiting. Young adults staying out all night, even after the end of school, was not uncommon, they said. But soon the investigation widened when cell phone records indicated Brandon's last known call was from the vicinity of Taunton, some 40 kilometers, 25 miles, away from where he had believed himself to be. Wikipedia.org. Further search discovered his vehicle in a ditch off a gravel road near the Lincoln-Yellow-Medicine County line, north of State Highway 68, with the car's doors open and the keys missing. Investigators found the car had hung up on an incline. The wheels were off the ground in a way that prevented traction. Wikipedia.org. What followed were years of fruitless searches. Land teams with dogs scoured bushland and the adjacent river, especially the nearby Yellow Medicine River. The possibility of accidental drowning was floated, notably that Brandon may have fallen into the water while walking at night. But no body has ever been recovered. Foul play has never been fully ruled out. Wikipedia.org. Brandon's disappearance had broader impact. His parents successfully lobbied the Minnesota legislature to enact what came to be called Brandon's Law, requiring prompt police investigation into missing adult cases, something their family felt was delayed in their own case. Wikipedia.org. On the personal side, the man who disappeared had been described by friends and family as responsible, pleasant, and with a promising future. That the vanishing should occur on what appeared to be a routine returning home drive makes the mystery even more haunting. The phone call ending with the abrupt, "Oh shit," remains frozen in time. What happened in the next seconds, no one knows. Investigators are left with a dilemma of plausible but unverified scenarios. Brandon may have wandered off, disoriented, or been injured in the dark and succumbed. He may have entered the water, lost his way, and perished, or he may have encountered some unknown threat. But after so many years, each hypothesis lacks conclusive proof. For his family, the absence of closure is a constant. Each anniversary of his disappearance is a reminder, not only of what was lost in that early morning drive, but of the many nights since in which no footsteps have approached the door and no knock has come. For the local community, his is one of the more prominent cold case missing adult files in rural Minnesota. As of now, nearly 2 decades have passed. Brandon remains missing, his whereabouts unknown. The car sits in the ditch as a silent clue, the phone call a last point of contact, the unknown stretch of night beyond a traveler's final step. What saved him from that ditch? What doomed that walk into darkness? And most wrenching of all, why has no trace ever come back? Until answers emerge, his case, though tragic and unresolved, serves as a stark reminder of how quickly normal lives can pivot into unknowing, and how the simplest journey home can become a path into mystery. End of narrative.